I'll talk about the Seahawks-Giants game. I know we previewed them last week, but I do want to talk about the match. I mean, why were these two teams playing prime time? These are two playoff teams, in case anyone forgot. It's the 6 and 7 seed from last year. Coach of the year, Brian Daboll, comeback player of the year, and Geno Smith. And my God, it didn't look like it would be what everyone thought it would be, a close contest between the 6th and the 7th seed against a Giants team that absolutely boat raced the Minnesota Vikings in a playoff game. The Giants are a shadow of their former selves. Like, I obviously a Seahawks fan. I thought we played incredibly well, but to get like 10 sacks on the day with broadly like a 4-man rush for most of the second half was pretty fucking embarrassing. From a Giants O-line perspective, it was non-existent. The Giants D-line, no pressure on Geno, and there was like he got hit while he was falling out of bounds, and aside from that, there was really no pressure on him. Thibodeau was the only one who was actually playing fairly decently. He had 2 sacks. One was in garbage time, but he almost got a pick 6 actually against Drew Lock, but otherwise that defense was just abysmal. They're in real trouble, and I bring this up. I just want to talk about the Giants in the offseason. There was so much talk around the Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley situation. Who gets franchise tagged? Who gets the big payday? Are we ready to conclude they made a monumental fuck up in paying Daniel Jones $40 million a year?
No.
No?
No. Main reason is the guy is getting chased for his entire life. Like, if you can't protect... I think the monumental fuck-up is that maybe they overspent a little bit and should have spent more on their O-line. But, I mean...
A lot more.
How can you... Yeah, a lot more. How can you judge it when the guy has got, like, I think it's record lows in terms of seconds to get the ball off before he was sacked? We're talking some plays were just over 1 second before he had to bail out, before his pocket collapsed. That's crazy. That's like 5 fat fucks up front just deciding to jump on their back like a fucking puppy dog. That's what that was.
We're even saying that the whole second half was a 4-man rush by the Seahawks and they were still getting there. There was no blitzers. They didn't have to blitz and they were still getting through.
Yeah. Yep.
But even, I was going to say what's even more embarrassing. So the score was 24-3, correct?
Yeah.
Week 1 against Dallas was 40-0. They've conceded 64-3 at home at MetLife. They've only scored 3 points at MetLife, which is the lowest any team has ever had at home
That's
in 2
insane.
games.
And
Their
also,
starts.
they're exactly their starts. The first halves to date, they've scored 9 points cumulatively across their first halves have been terrible.
That's pretty...
And the bulk of their points, probably the whole season, has just come from the second half of the Arizona game where they had the miraculous comeback win
Yeah.
Against a poor team.
against a poor team. Exactly. Yeah.
They're in massive trouble.
But would you, I mean, just back to the point about Jones and the payday, like, he had one good season last year, and I think, again, coach of the year, Brian Daboll, how much you put that on the coach versus the quarterback. And would you not just franchise tag him, right? See how he goes under the franchise tag, and if he actually proves himself over like a significant sample size, then you pay the guy.
Then you let Saquon walk, really?
And then you
I think-
upgrade, as you said, you actually save yourself a bit to upgrade in areas you need to
But
upgrade.
I don't think they could franchise tag him because they needed to keep Saquon. So you can't have both.
They have to do
Or
both.
pay, but it's the thing, it's either or. Like, why would you not just tag Jones, pay Saquon something?
Where's Saquon?
They didn't want to pay him. He
Well,
came off an
hang
injury.
on a second. Where's Saquon now?
Oh, he's injured.
Yeah, exactly. So why did you choose to pay Daniel Jones and not Saquon?
2020
Daniel Jones is less likely to get injured. Clearly, Saquon's injured again.
Yeah.
I think ideally they made a rod for their own back by going well last year. They should have ridden it out, but then they wouldn't have got Daboll, gone with what they had 2 years ago, coaching and quarterback wise. Jones would have struggled last year. They would have ended up with a Stroud, a Young. He may not be the answer anyway. Who knows? A Richardson. And, they would have been a top 5 draft team last year. They went too well last year. In reality, it's not that well. If you include the playoffs, where they'd go like 11-8 or something in the whole year. They're not very good. They probably you can't pay a running back. But
No one's
Saquon's always
paying running backs
injured.
now.
They overpaid Jones, but fortunately they did it for 2 years. they're at the point now where you go, do I punt it and have a go in the Caleb sweepstakes? I think that because they could probably afford a first year contract with a high end draft pick this year and the last year of Jones's deal, or you just trade it away for nothing. Who gives a shit? But they're at the crossroads. They've got to make a decision. At the next 10 years of their franchise depends on the next 8 weeks, I think.
For the Giants, I think it's exactly like MetLife's field. You got to tear it all up. I think you tank. No, honestly, I think what the best thing is for the Giants, I reckon they tank. You try and trade this second, third, fourth overall, whatever they tank for. You keep Dan Jones and you need to build around him. You've already trusted him. You've seen him for 3-4 years. Get some O-line pieces. Get some wide receivers because we're even saying Darren Waller they paid. He was shocking. Who was the wide receiver they paid a couple of years ago that, what was his name? He's a free agent probably now. 2 years ago, they paid a wide receiver and he didn't get any catches. He plays in
Golladay.
Golladay.
Yes, Kenny Golladay. Yeah.
A Lions wide receiver one, which was probably like a top 5 wide receiver 3-4 years ago. Where's he now?
The question is whether you or not you trust the front office to make the right decisions.
Well, I think they did make it the drafting of Jones and Barkley is not the issue, but since they changed the front office, 3 years ago, they haven't this year's draft, whatever, and Kayvon Thibodeau, he's probably overdrafted a bit, but he's all right.
Oh, he's good. He had a good game, actually.
Yeah, he's decent, but like a number 5 overall draft pick, I'm not quite sure. Wan'Dale Robinson looks okay as a number 2 receiver, maybe. But they haven't nailed a draft pick for 3 years, and the Andrew Thomas one, like their O-line picks are just fucked. Like that's why they're in trouble.
Yeah. It's it is interesting. So I guess the question is, how screwed are the New York Giants, and should they blow the whole thing up? Now, if I'm the Giants, I'm probably wondering who would. The first thing I would ask myself is who would take Daniel Jones.
Does it matter if you got to ride with him for the rest of this year? So 40 of the 80 million you're paying, you might
How
as well
long was
use.
the contract, Matt?
4 years.
4 years, so another 3 years after this.
No, I thought it was only 2, wasn't it?
No, it's a 4-year
4 year.
contract.
Oh, they are in massive. I thought they only paid him 2 years, 80 mil.
Fact checking.
A fact checker, but I'm pretty sure it's a 4-year agreement. Maybe it's
4 years.
4 years. How much
Yeah.
guaranteed money?
50.
Would you like to?
And that's 460 with 82 guaranteed. So
82 million
Yeah.
guaranteed.
yeah, I mean, who is going to take that really? Like, you know, he's salary dump, but he's not a good enough quarterback to get $40 million a year. He's proven at times a competent starter.
Let me ask you. Do you do a flipsies between
The
him?
Joneses.
Who's the other Jones?
Mac
Chandler.
No, it's not going to be Chandler Jones. Oh God, that guy! Someone send Chandler Jones help. Somebody call him up. Go to his
It's sad,
fucking
man.
wherever he is. Give him a little bit of a hug. Maybe Deshaun can send one of his little rub and tuggers in to give him a bit of a hand because it's not looking good for him at the moment. That is sad. But I was going to say, do you flip him for Kyler Murray? You know, change the scenery for both quarterbacks. Kyler Murray on a very similarly bad contract.
Kyler Murray's fucking way better than him, man. Like,
Well, they're both
but
shocking
he doesn't.
timelines.
It's clear he doesn't want to play for the Cardinals. He's still on the physically unable to perform list. There's grumblings that it's you know, he's not really injured anymore. So what in the fuck do you do? Like, you don't keep him.
they still need to
You've
tank
gotta
for
get rid
high-end
of him.
O-linemen, but if you're going to get a quarterback that needs more time, although Kyler can create more time for himself through his feet, like, their O-line is potentially historically bad.
Yeah, but you still. I still think you can make those moves. Like, I think Kyler Murray is more of a distraction than Daniel Jones. So you might even be able to collect a little bit of collateral for him in return for Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is the more proven commodity out of the two of them. Kyler Murray, albeit more talented. Daniel Jones, recency bias. I don't know.
I think with Kyler, but he's still young enough to be a long-term solution. Like, the Giants have got to the Giants have got to look past the next 3 years. Like, you can't have an O-line that they have and a quarterback that can't really move in a conference, even in a division that's got Philadelphia and Dallas as pass rush, but a conference that's got San Francisco. Like, they can't possibly finish any higher than 4th in the conference if everything else went right for the next 5 years. Seattle just minced them, and they're at best the 4th best team in the NFC.
True.
I think they're good, but they're nowhere near Philly, Dallas, and Frisco. Like, they got to look for a long-term solution.
Yeah. Well, I suppose for now, the solution they have is what they've got, and they're kind of fucked
Ride it
anyway.
out.
Let's just see what happens. Let's see. Well, I mean, week 8. Let's see. We've got 4 weeks till trade deadline. So do they make some moves? Is the season salvageable? I guess we'll find out